What is a telltale sign that someone is a selfish person? When anything that happens to them is the worst thing in the world and whatever happens to you is not that bad and a waste of time talking about or dealing with. I know your mom died a month ago, but my best friend of 3 years died too, so I don't see why you are so sad all of the time. I think narcissism and selfishness go hand in hand, so there you go. I love these threads. I always use them as a way to measure whether I'm doing those things or not and fix them if I am. They feel no remorse for how they've hurt others. Doesn't think they're wrong in the slightest bit. They can't shoulder any bit of responsibility. They don't remember the times people helped them, but remember clearly all the times they have helped others. They bring nothing to the potluck but are first in line. Deleted. They respond how worse their situation is when you're sharing your problems with them. No try for help or listening, just trying to draw attention on their side. They gladly take any favors you do for them, but when asked if they could reciprocate once, they get defensive and or aggressive and act like you're the selfish one for daring to expect something in return. It doesn't make you a bad person to expect reciprocation in a relationship with someone else, romantic or platonic. Relationships are give and take, and that makes them healthy. It's not entitlement to expect kindness if you give kindness. If you're the only one giving, you're being taken advantage of. Edit, as some people have pointed out, doing something kind with the expectation to gain something from it can be manipulative. I'm not talking about narcissism and manipulation, I'm talking about the natural give and take in a relationship. It is not manipulative to expect certain things out of a relationship, depending on what kind of relationship it is. The whole reason we make relationships is because they give us something, whether that be support, love, safety, or other advantages. It isn't a bad thing, it's a human thing. Typically, with give and take, if you notice a pattern of one person consistently taking without giving, the one taking is the problem, not the one giving. The kind of people who use this as a manipulation tactic aren't the ones who stick around in a relationship for years, doing favors and kind things without being asked to. They're more likely to do one favor and demand twice as much in return. Why do I know this? I've had these people in my life, which is what gave me the realization I commented above. Every bad thing you do to them is drama-worthy. End number X200b. Every bad thing they do to you are details and should be moved on from, and why can't you just do that? You're so dramatic. Did after 14K, I never thought that being so upvoted would make me feel so sad. It's heartbreaking that so many people can relate to this. I'm reading every reply that are addressed to me, thank you for sharing. If you are in a group and there is one person that is constantly interrupting the middle of what you or anyone else is saying, generally to brag about themselves with a one-upper story, is generally a precursor to stop associating with them. I've met too many of them in my days, and they are more often than not happy to throw you under the bus whenever the opportunity arises. If they always talk about themselves. When every single bad thing that happens to another person gets spun around into their personal problem, e.g., I'm really upset because my family member is going through X. They have that superpower to lead everything back to themselves. Even when you're actually talking about your own life or a specific problem of yours, they somehow make it that you start talking about them instead without even changing the topic. Complaining at work to coworkers doing your work for you while you complain. What traits in a girl do you find attractive or impressive aside from her physical appearance, guys? My wife laughs are literally everything. Sometimes she watches a show on her laptop in our room and I hear her cracking up from down the hall. Absolutely love it. One of the main reasons I started dating my current girlfriend was because she accidentally spilled popcorn in my car after our first date. Profusely apologized, asked if she could clean it up. Car is a POS, so I didn't care. Got home. She texted me apologizing again. I don't know why, but her caring about spilling popcorn in my shitty car made me realize, hey, maybe she can care about me too. Accountability. If she can openly admit when she's wrong or that she fucked up, that's attractive, as it shows maturity and ability to judge yourself impartially, and it means you are less likely to repeat the mistake. This also means what you feel for her is not only love, it's respect, which is just as important. Things like confidence, a good sense of humor, intelligence, all that is super important. But for me, the sexiest thing a woman can do is be calm, not calm as in quiet, as in calm when shit goes sideways or something unexpected happens. Having someone who is reliable and stable as a partner is so crucial in life. Not exclusive to girls, but having a hobby/interest that they are very knowledgeable/passionate with. Even if it's something super benign like painting nails or baseball, I just love people who can ramble on about their interest, especially if I'm not into it. It's like peeking into another world. Knew a girl that was into knitting, but not just like knew how to cross-stitch, full-on had a setup where she would turn wool into yarn, and even had a favorite small sheep farm she would order from exclusively. Was interesting as hell to me. Critical thinking skills are hot. I find a woman's voice to be one of the best factors in determining if I'm attracted to a woman. Intelligence. Good looks only go so far when you realize she doesn't even know basic life skills. Went on a date last week and the woman never took her phone out of her purse. Super hot. How they treat themselves, self-care, how they treat others, friendships, how they work with others, collaboration, what they enjoy learning, curiosity, and what they enjoy doing, creativity. The ability to listen. To really listen. Ability to think critically and see through bullshit. Intelligence. Confidence. Self-awareness. Empathy. Creativity. Education. Also, being pet-friendly is a big plus. I love it when women are. I like when they like me. What's the wildest dream you're ever had? I slept for 5 hours and dreamed I was falling through different lives where I was rich, then a Vietnam vet which was violent, and then a garbage man. I was happiest as the garbage man cause I'd keep getting high fives. I was putting on deodorant and the deodorant turned me into a horse. I once dreamed I had to kill a dinosaur by cutting off the top of its skull and pour boiling gasoline onto its brain. Also, it was a cartoon dinosaur that looked like a giraffe. I remember that if I failed in killing this dinosaur, something really bad was going to happen, so it was super important. I used to work for Coca-Cola years ago. I absolutely hated it, terrible bosses, barely mediocre pay, etc. I quit there almost 20 years ago and have been with the same company since I left. Well, a few years ago I had a dream that I quit the company I am at and went back to work for Coke. I was miserable, same old crap as before. The dream was so real, that when I woke I laid in bed and was convinced I had went back to work for Coke. I was legitimately depressed and sad for about 20 minutes until I realized it was just a dream. In this dream I was suddenly on my grandparents' farm and I could tell I was about 10 to 20 years older than I am right now. The sky was burning an angry red-orange mix and the sun was burning so bright that I felt like my skin was on fire. I saw dozens of people running around, screaming, trying to find loved ones, and just general panic. I realized that everyone was panicking BC we were all being burned alive by the sun. I was wandering around, feeling like I was looking for someone I loved but I didn't know who that was. A random man was running and he stabbed me in the gut. He was crying and just stammering that he didn't know what to do. What should any of us do? I woke up then with my eyes literally hurting and I felt like my gut was on fire. Took weeks if not months to not still feel that when I thought about it. I dreamed that I was back in college, weeks away from graduating, only to suddenly get an email from a professor, whom I never met, saying that I had missed every single day of a class that I never knew I was enrolled in. I was in a blind panic trying to figure out what I had missed, and what I needed to do to pass, only to wake up, and eventually realize that I am already graduated and have a job. Just a couple notes from my dream journal since I cannot pick just one dream. My mother and I went into a gift shop, bought things, then when we came out the entire world was sideways. A girl at a bus stop has a ball paddle game but the ball is a knife. She then kills everyone with a chemical bomb. A child kidnapped me, dissected my organs from me on a couch while I was awake. I fall in love with a man named Benji Rat in a classic Hallmark movie fashion. But when I meet his family, they all try to kill me and his basement is full of FNAF-style plush cats. My personal favorite, new Hotel Transylvania movie came out. Johnny and Mavis got a divorce and Cake by the Ocean played constantly throughout the movie. I have a lot of weird nightmares but I really love my stupid dreams lol. One early morning I woke up from a nightmare and went out to the kitchen to get some coffee. My dad was also in there, about an hour earlier than he was usually up. I told him about this dream I had where I saw this giant scorpion crawling on the ceiling of an all-white room above me and I couldn't move until the scorpion started falling on my face when I woke up. He says, was it brown and really hairy? I was like, yeah. How did you know? And he's like, I just had the exact same dream. To this day, neither one of us can explain it. We had a number of other weird coincidences happen when I was a toddler too, but that one was a special brand of weird. I had a dream last night that I was at a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert and Anthony Kiedis went into the crowd and just started humping people while singing. He humped these two guys from behind and they just decked him. He got KO'd and they had to cancel the rest of the show. When I was younger I had a super freaky dream. In the dream, my family and I were supposed to be moving to a new house. We arrived at the new place to take a look around. The previous owner's furniture was still in there, mostly boxed up and ready to go. I decided to go upstairs and found a corridor behind a panel in the wall. The corridor was kind of dusty and cobwebbed, and there was a door at the end of it. I opened the door into a room that was almost an exact copy of the room I shared with my older sister in my real home, save for a few extra bits. There was a vanity table, one of those built-in ones with cupboards surrounding it and a big mirror at the back. And on the table was a small TV with built-in VCR that was on but playing static. Stuck all around the mirror were photos from my childhood, birthday parties, first day at school etc. And in every one there was another person next to me but their faces was scratched out. The TV suddenly started playing a VHS tape, a family video of my 6th birthday party, except that other person was there again, but the face was blurred out. There were other copies of things around the room I had as a kid or drawings I remember doing but they all had a different name on them. Dream me got creeped out and left the room and walked back downstairs to join my family as they were leaving the house. I turned back and glanced up the stairs to see someone who looked exactly like me peeking around the top of the stairs, looking straight back at me. Absolutely freaked me out and I told my mum about it when I woke up. She seemed fairly nonplussed and chose to respond by saying well you were a twin, but I'm scared, maybe they were saying hello.